Brian Alvarez? Or was he just covering his tracks because of all the hate he got on the internet?
Right. I do love that Conrad calls him out. Even 2 weeks later after the deal, he's like talking about Alex Marvez. This is not Brian Alvarez. Like, still gives him shit. You can tell they're pretty good friends in real life. Like, he still digs it to him.
Those names are so far apart, really.
Other than them both being Hispanic.
The RVEZ, but even Alvarez is in a different order. It's like...
Yeah, they're just both Hispanic in nature. That's about the only thing. But, Bischoff does admit that he often either records early and or drinks Jameson and or both at the same time. So... I've done it too. I remember a while back, I screwed up, Flip Gordon and Rip, an old school wrestler. I mixed them two up just because it was Flip and Rip, and it was like,
Rip Taylor.
Yeah, it was Rip Taylor and Flip Gordon, and it was about Rip Taylor dogging on everybody who's doing all these fancy fucking flip-floppy moves, and for some reason I thought it was Flip Gordon, and I was like, that's all he fucking does!
It's in his name!
Yeah, I know. I was like, what is going on? And then the next week, at least we're professional enough, just like 83 Weeks, that the next week I was like, oh, I fucked up. That was Rip Taylor, not Flip Gordon. Don't know where I fucked it up, but it happens. You sit around, you make notes, you drink, you got, how many names in a normal podcast, even just for us, and we're not as in depth as like 83 Weeks or any of them. We got a good 30, 50 names to go through usually, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to do, but nobody gives a shit if you and I do it. But when Eric Bischoff does it, it makes the rounds. So it was pretty fun, and it's pretty fun that they both had fun with it. That's what I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, that's what life is, man. You live, you make mistakes, you learn from it, you correct yourself, and you grow. And that's going to be a big part in our top story of this week's Savage Sentinel, as the recent speaking out movement on social media has led to a change in UK laws, according to Gary Cassidy of Sportskeeda. A change will reportedly be made soon to the UK's Sexual Offences Act of 2003. The change in the law will close a loophole regarding relationships between people in positions of trust and minors. It was also noted that the loophole now means it's illegal for pro wrestling trainers to enter into sexual relationships with their trainees that are just 16 or 17 years old. I don't think it should be any age. Business should be professional, but I guess that works.
I would disagree with that 100%. Well, not 100%, 50%. I think you can be in a relationship with someone you're subordinate, but they should definitely be mature enough to make that decision.
I guess.
And at 16, 17, you probably aren't mature enough to make that decision.
If you make that decision, though, and you are old enough, whatever, I get it. But that should be a long-lasting relationship. It could turn into a very serious thing if somebody like a trainer just predatorily, tries to seek relationships with the people they're training.
Pasty. I'm just gonna go off kayfabe here again. Just fucking open the curtain. I ended up hiring a girl at a job I was a manager at because I thought that she was pretty. Only reason I hired her. I got in a relationship with her. I ended up having a kid with her. Less than a year after we had the kid, we were broken up. I stand by my saying that I think that people in positions of power should be able to date their subordinate.
But they have to have kids so they don't regret it later.
I don't regret that part of it, but you're like, it should be a long-standing thing. Fuck, it was less than a year. We had the kid and bounced. I don't know. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm not going to say that I think that that's wrong. I don't think it's wrong because to this day, I have a great child and a great relationship with his mother, who is now married to her husband, and she's happy, and we met in that situation. I don't think that's a wrong thing, but I think that, yes, they should be of the mature age to make that consent. Especially, I also think that whatever position I was in is probably in a different position than being a wrestling trainer. I think there's a little more intimacy than maybe, say, an office manager or other things like that. You know what I mean? So I can see that also. Moving on, though. Continue with your story. I just interrupted you.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. All that will change next year.
It's not soon enough, Pasty.
No. They're just going to get it all in this year as much as possible.
Just bang as many 16-year-olds as you can, people. Times are a-changing. Ring the bells.
Justin Humphreys, who is a member of the expert advisory group on the prevention of sexual exploitation, abuse, and harassment, at the Department for International Development. At the Department for International Sexual Exploitation.
Isn't that quite a title?
It is.
Expert advisory group on the prevention of sexual exploitation, abuse, and harassment at the Development of International Development. Or the Department of International Development. Yeah, that's a hell of a title. How do you fit that on one fucking card?
You wear a badge that says that?
You got to put in 7 cards just to make one. You're losing out money on your free fucking Reuben.
You know, most people shorten things to where the letters make sense in a word that's smaller than what it is. You can't do that with this, though.
E-H-E-S-E-A-E-I-D. This one's already been.
Well, they said discussions that I've been having with the Ministry of Justice on this in recent weeks indicate that there's going to be a change in the law. So it's not, but it might be. It could be. It probably won't.
Yeah,
keep speaking out to make change happen, folks. Because if we shut up, ain't nothing gonna change.
Keep the hashtag. Keep talking about it. Keep letting the stories out. You know, the innocents 8 times out of 10 will be found innocent, and the ones that are guilty, fuck them. So just keep going. Just keep going. Let it go, because, like you said, Pasty, just like all of these, just like Black Lives Matters, just like justice for Native Americans on their own territories and pipelines, and just like the Speaking Out movement. As soon as it's no longer a fad and it goes away, everything just goes back to the status quo.
Yeah,
and we cannot have that.
Nope.
Not now. We've gone too far.
No, this is 2020. We got to see things clearly, right?
That's what 2020 means.
Yes.
On a plus side, though, Pacey, Ohio Valley Wrestling has announced an extension of their partnership with UK-based media group Film Volt to provide their brand of wrestling content to all of Europe. Film Volt and OVW have already worked together on a Roku app for the American market, where OVW faithful can relive hours of footage from past Ohio Valley events. I got to look that one up. I have Roku. I don't know if that's a free app or not, but I'm really going to look that up, because OVW has such a rich history of people. And we're not just talking about the Brock Lesnar's, John Cena's, and Randy Orton's. We're talking about long before all of that. So now the company wishes to afford fans in the UK and other European nations the same opportunity that those of us in the United States have. So this is kind of good. Good for Ohio Valley Wrestling. They're no longer actually attached to WWE, but they still technically own all the rights to all of their video library from the past. So you can get all those old school ones and current stuff, which obviously isn't current right now, but hopefully will be in the future.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this, Pacey. Good for them. Anytime, we've been talking a lot about, I'm glad with the whole international and streaming market, because we've been talking more and more about these contracts being made with smaller companies getting their name out there. And not so much always in America, but to get their name out there in other markets across the seas. That's revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, you look back in the day when Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor and a lot of them were Impact Wrestling for sure used to make more money over in Europe than than WWE made. Like, they were making a killing. If you talked about what they made in Europe combined with America, it was about what WWE was making in America. It was huge. So good for them.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I probably have this app on my TV because I went through the app store and I got every wrestling app I could find. Granted, a lot of them are pay to watch and they just sit there and never do anything. They all sit there and never do anything because I don't watch.
Right.
But I might have to go look through and see what's up. Hey, Fat Mac.
Yo.
What's your favorite rendition of Kane?
My favorite rendition of Kane was probably the one that he liked the best, which was when he had his mask off.
When he had his mask off?
They call him Corporate Kane. He wore a suit and a tie, acted like a pompous kind of prick, really didn't care about anybody else, and tried to make the dollar for the 1% and didn't give a shit about everybody lower than him. How about you?
You mean Mayor of Knox County Kane?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes, because Glenn Jacobs, as you know as Kane, he's voted against the COVID-19 mask mandate in his county where he reigns supreme. Reporters noted that Mayor Kane was the only person to go against the mandate during the Knox County Board of Health vote this afternoon. The board voted 7-1 for the mandate that would have forced anyone inside certain buildings to wear a protective mask during the coronavirus pandemic as things start to reopen. It was noted that the board will reevaluate the mandate as its next meeting.
Yeah, so it had to be unanimous, and well, there you go. The devil's favorite demon.
Who would have thought Kane would do Kane things? That's so weird.
And such a simple request. All it is that people have to wear masks in certain buildings. Like, I'm sure it's not your local deli. Like, if they're restricting what it is for certain buildings, it's like, who
where
cares?
People gather in mass, I would assume, like church,
Yeah,
and that makes sense.
I was just talking about this with somebody. Maybe it was you, Pacey. I don't remember. I don't wear a mask the majority of the time. I really don't even care. But if I'm going someplace where they require me to wear a mask, I'll throw that mask on quick as shit. Because if I want to be in your establishment, I'm willing to follow your rules. And if I don't want to follow your rules, I'm more than happy to not frequent your establishment.
And the way
that's my choice.
Yeah. The way I look at it, though, too, is like Walmart. They don't care if you wear a mask or not, but you walk in there and every single employee is. So I probably should, too. If they're going to do it, I should do it. And these 90,000 people in the store aren't doing it, and it makes me mad. But I get it. It's America. You have your freedoms and your right to be stupid.
Yeah. But for a guy who made his career out of a mask, he wouldn't be who he is without having a mask on, that's pretty fucking hypocritical.
Granted, like I said earlier, his mask would not protect COVID at all. Well, he had the one that covered his whole face.
But at the same time, he dropped his hands down and fire flew from all four corners, and I think high heats eliminate the virus, so maybe he's safe.
Yeah. As summertime in America, cases of COVID are surging across the country, especially in southern states. Must be a cold snap down there.
I meant cold.
Quick, we got to get Undertaker into a mayoral position.
Someone we know who's a fan of just being cold to anybody he can. Old Vinnie McMahon, through WWE, has filed a trademark for Wrestle War. And this is Wrestle Space War, which is literally just one space added from the WCW pay-per-view Wrestle War with no space that ran from 1989 to 1992. Not a big deal, and it really wasn't even other than I love the Wrestle War ones. That was another, actually, ironically, with our This Week in Pro Wrestling History, that was another 2-ring event, which was a kind of battle royal deal. But with WWE running NXT under WCW's Great American Bash banner to counter program AEW's Fyter Fest. It looks